Hey guys, the following is a conversation with me and Richard Herpin. It is a follow-up on the video that I posted a couple months ago in September actually, where I asked you guys to ask him some questions, so we will do so right now. Make sure you stick throughout the entire video because we do have a giveaway and a little bit of something fun to do in the comments, and we also have some discounts and a bunch of other projects that we're working on, so you might want to hear this one out. There you go, and we're live. Hey, Richard, how you doing, buddy?
Very good. Nice to see you again, Camille. I know you to New York, so now it's like back to Florida, like like me.
In my fragrance dungeon, this looks more and more like a dungeon here. I just put all my fragrances here now, but now with the colors, it just reminded me of something. But yeah, man, always a pleasure, definitely. And I think everybody who's watching this is going to be excited as well. Because if you remember, I should actually look into the camera. I'm looking at you here. Do you remember, it wasn't September. I just looked it up. In September, I visited you. For those of you who don't know, Richard lives in South Florida as well, about an hour away. So every once in a while, I get the chance to meet him in person. It's always fun, always a great time. We could talk forever. But we did have the idea to maybe ask people to submit their questions for Richard and see what they would like to know from a world famous master perfumer. So we got that going. Other than that, Richard, how have you been? What's new with you? What's new with your brand?
Yeah, so with the brand, like we're really happy, like to have Salt and Pepper, clearly a very good seller. That one has been introduced some time ago, but it was 2 years ago, but it's building up. Like people come back to buy a bottle, which is really, for me, that's the key, because you buy a bottle of fragrance and that's great. But when I see people come back for repurchase, then I'm like, wow, they did really like the fragrance, and that's for me the most important. And here we have the Aqua Wood. And this one is a new launch from the past 3 months. And this one is doing really, really well. I'm getting great reviews, like from some influencers. They have been really smelling it and saying that it's a great, great fragrance. So sales starts really well on this one too.
That's awesome.
And where we have this little...
yeah, I was just showing that. That was the entrance to your brand for me. I definitely... was kind of blown away by some of your special ingredients releases, and they're not all. I mean, I'm always coming back to Musk Sauvage, for some reason. It always gets me because it's very different to me, at least, But how would you describe it in the context of today's fragrances? How would Musk Sauvage right now?
Yeah, for me, it has almost like a little 80s rehab, but in a good way, like the kind of the fragrances that were like people always talk nowadays of beast mode, but that's for me the real beast mode,
It is. It's like kind of like it creeps up on you and then it's there all of a sudden. Definitely, I had that experience too. But talking about beast mode, I watched the new Godzilla movie yesterday. It's actually really good.
Good. Yeah.
Here, this is one that Richard was talking about as well. It's called Blue Agave, and I couldn't believe it when he said it originally. He said that this is his workout fragrance for the gym. And generally, I don't recommend fragrances for the gym, but this really got me interested in fragrances for the gym because we have this really nice citrusy. For me, I told him it smells kind of like sparkling water with a little bit of lime or lemon in it. So that's really very refreshing. You wouldn't think that from the color because it's pretty, it's dark, but it's very light compared to the color.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about the Blue Agave is that I have a woody accord that contains ambrox and some other woody elements. And what is really astonishing is that when you spray it on skin, the more you sweat, the more it's releasing the fragrance. So it's the perfect gym fragrance because it's really like in the place where you start to sweat and then you want to experience more coverage, more fragrance, and that's really really cool. It really works, and it stays like that for even longer time. Even the next day, you smell it, you rub it a little bit, and suddenly those molecules, they get reactivated. It's very strange.
Yeah.
There are not that many molecules that have that effect when they get with humidity, with humid. It just brings them back to life. Very,
Right.
very interesting.
Definitely a surprise to me. I loved it. Look, we got some questions. Should we just go over them? I picked a couple. People were really excited to ask you some things. So let's start with some beginner questions. And guys, thanks for all the weird usernames. So the first one is actually not that crazy. At J Freezy or J Freeze is asking, how do you train your nose to get better at your craft?
You know what? The nose is really just the tool. So really what you train is your memory. It's really your brain more than your nose. It's like I always do the comparison, everybody has eyes, but not everybody is Picasso, or an artist that is able to create, things that are incredible. So for me, it's a little bit the same. I always make that parallel, everybody has ears, but who is able to create the wonderful melody that Beethoven, Mozart have been created, and those, they stay forever. Those we still listen to classic music, and it's just like absolute masterpieces, and it's like really our senses. We all pretty much have some. I mean, some people are impaired, a little bit. I mean, obviously, but mostly the olfactory scent. The thing is that people don't use it enough. They don't really train themselves. They don't. Me, thank God, I was trained by Pierre Bourdon, a master perfumer from France, who did Cool Water from Davidoff and many great fragrances, and he really like told me at a young age. I was 17 when I started to work with him, and so that you need to do that. My little 6-year-old daughter, I always have her smell things. My boy, he's 10 years old. He's not as interested,
Right,
So
right.
it's something, first of all, that you need to have the interest, and then you have to cultivate it and keep on adding more memories, more things, and try to understand how things relate to each other. Like, for example, it took me some time to understand why do Americans don't like as much citrus notes as European, And in Europe, citrus notes, they count as fresh, refined, and all of that. And in America, a lot of Windex, cleaning products, they contain those citrus notes.
Right.
So the Americans tend to think like, oh, citrus, aggressive, cleaning product, not for me, not to put up anything, not, So there are so many things that are cultural that like, for example, soap, like there are certain soaps or certain smell that people like also fabric softener, dishwasher. I mean, there are so many of those smells. If one is really successful, and then you get this association, like boom, so it's like for example, also like when something becomes too successful, it kind of kills itself. Like for example, Trésor for Lancôme was so successful, so and then it went to the peak, and then it became dated. People didn't like it anymore, and now it's like almost. It's very little worn. It's a great fragrance, but people don't wear it because it's not.
It sounds like what you're saying is that it's something that you can learn, and it's more dependent on your memory. Meaning, and basically also, when you mentioned that, what reminded me of was so I used to be a professional photographer, and especially for architecture, there are certain ways to take photos of buildings, and if you don't know certain things, you just don't have the eye for it. But it's not something you're born with. You just have to learn about it. Is that kind of like in the direction that you're recommending?
Exactly. That's a great parallel you're using right now. It's like it's like it's more like the awareness and trying to understand, what you're looking for to capture and
Got it. Cool. Jane7645 is asking, what tips and tricks do you have for beginners with designing their own fragrances?
designing. So that means that they would really create from scratch a fragrance.
Yeah, I assume that she's meaning, well, I don't know, but I would assume that she means when you tinker around with your own oils at home and you want to just create something yourself. You have some tips where to go?
I don't want
Obviously not for mass market, but maybe to go somewhere.
Yeah,
by yourself.
yeah. It's like someone, I really don't want to be mean, because I mean, honestly, to become a perfumer, it takes over 10 years of training, and the number of oils that I did when I was learning, all these trials that go to the garbage. I mean, you have like thousands of bottles. They just like, okay, not good, oh, not good. You're constantly trying to find balance, to find. So it's very difficult. It's really something. I think like for me, for someone who would like to customize something, I think it would be more like trying to find two fragrances that they really love and kind of balance those two fragrances maybe together. That could be a nice way to have something, wear something unique,
blending them together, basically remixing your own fragrances in a way.
Yeah, I like a bit that layering. Not all fragrances they're good for layering, but in our line we keep things very streamlined, so it's not like a Hollywood movie with everything for everybody inside those fragrances. No, we create them in a way, for example, where people, whether they're going to like it or they are not going to gravitate towards it. So when you have those simple fragrances like that, high quality material, simple, then you can try to associate two fragrances of that line, to see. For example, you may like, I'm not just saying like Tobacco Royale, for example, and then but you are missing a little bit like a fresh opening. So you could take mandarin, and just add it on top, and just like, yeah, be creative. But I mean, to go back to what she's saying, I would like to answer better but I would say, I mean, just try. Some people are more gifted than others. Some people may end up with some nice accords, and always write your formulas. Make sure you always write down what you are doing, so you can rate yourself, and then you can really progress, towards something that you like, and
Like that.
yeah, and I mean, nothing is impossible, but it's going to require a lot of dedication and work, and trial and error.
It's not just something that you pick up on the weekend and you can expect great results for sure.
Yeah, it's like,
cool.
it's like, for example, if I would go on a piano and I would say, okay, now, out of nowhere, I'm going to start to create a beautiful melody. Okay, good, it's going to take.
Talking about putting really good fragrances together, Caleb Goddard 4554 is asking, how did you get to be so good with oud? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so the story behind that is that my father is an antique dealer, and when I had memories from when I was little, I always used to go to his atelier, so he was kind of restoring those very beautiful furniture from the 17th, 18th century, and he would explain to me a lot of things, but he was like cutting the wood with the electric saw, doing like also like heating the wood, to and gluing some wood back on the. So all these precious woods and all this cutting, for me, it's like a beautiful memories from my childhood, So woods are notes that I always gravitate for. I always loved it, and honestly, I mean, woods, they were not that popular when I started to become a perfumer. Like in the late 80s, 90s. Yeah, there were some woods. Yeah, there were woods, but I believe that it has become like even more of a trend. Like people really associate precious woods as like luxury, like something that it's really nice in the fragrances, and to go back to wood is like maybe the sexiest one of all. So, and you can really smell so many different qualities. Some are really those qualities that people don't like because they become they smell really a little bit thick, or like so so those qualities I really avoid, because I really want only nice things in my fragrances. So I'm looking more to find that wood quality, and I put it almost everywhere. I mean, the aqua wood obviously is like a fresh twist on wood. And my wood from Tom Ford, that one, it was really something that I created like really fast. It's small formula. Try to think, to go straight to the point. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's wood has always been that bring that mystery, and I like it for men. I like it for women. It's just like you don't want to overdo it. A lot of people want to overdo it a little bit, and then it's not as good.
Right. So you had basically, since your childhood, you were exposed to those types of scents, and that kind of inspired you to go on the way. That's very cool. Do you feel like oud, and that's a question for me, do you feel like oud is getting more and more popular in America, or was it always popular? What is the consensus there?
Yeah, I think like for example, like wood from Tom Ford, it became like the number one niche fragrance in Europe and in the US. So obviously, I think it's really because from the Tom Ford line, it's a fragrance that women's like as much as men. So it's really, that makes it. So really, I believe that here, people have there's more and more tolerance for notes, complexity, a bit of animalic notes, musky notes, those type of notes. So there's more and more tolerance, and people, I think, like it, So it's like everything, you get used to it, It's like, for example, wines, in America, when like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, wines, they were a little basic for me, I didn't have so much depth, and didn't.
Right.
Well, nowadays, it's like very comparable to Europe, the taste evolved quite fast, like even coffee, like all these coffee notes, now people really like.
Yeah, now everybody's a coffee connoisseur. For sure. Very cool. By the way, do you want to? I constantly am thinking, and Richard and I are thinking about what projects to maybe work on in the future. I just had an idea that might be kind of gimmicky, but maybe also fun. A fragrance called Morning Oud.
Yeah, I mean, before the shower or after the shower?
Yeah, before the shower. What's the point after? No. I mean, we'll think about that. Here's an interesting question too for you from Umida with 3 A's. What other profession would you choose if you lost your sense of smell?
Wow. So yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, the good part is that I did have some. It happened to me for a couple of months where I lost my sense of smell because I had some health issue where I had to go through radiation. So I didn't lose it, but it was completely distorting what I was smelling. So I was not really able to smell, And I was still able to create. I was still able to go to my job every day, and the evaluators, they were kind of telling me like, okay, it's a little too green, it's a little too fruity, but pretty much, it's like Beethoven when he got deaf, he still could be a composer, So I do believe that if you have been for 30 years plus a perfumer, you could still like create fragrances, even losing completely your sense of smell. I could use my wife, my kids. I could say, "Hey, is it too citrus? Hey, what do you smell there?" And from what they are telling me, I would be able to reshape the fragrance the way it should go. So I mean, I'm not fully answering the question. I would say I would try to keep my job.
No, I understand.
But I mean, if I would really lose completely my sense of smell, like, yeah, it's hard for me to. When you've been doing something for almost like half of your life, like it's like or more.
Yeah. Just Add Light is asking, do you think that what do you think about fragrance fads like popular notes, names, and bottle colors? Are they decided by the industry, like big brands, or by the consumers?
Yeah, I mean, there I don't have that much insight, but I would say they would try to go with usually you have like someone who is like a designer, who designs all those things, and it's a little bit like, I don't know, like I would say the car industry or any other industry like that where they work with design. I do believe that at some point they're going to test it with consumer to see how the appeal is, but I don't know. That's like a question I cannot really answer because I'm not.
No worries, that's fine. I have one last one here. This is I don't know if you can answer this one either because it's just as Add Light is asking also, has your keen perfumer's sense of smell ever saved your life? Meaning, has it ever helped you avoid imminent danger?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, usually I'm aware like of danger like faster, like especially if my wife is cooking. I mean, very often. I'm
Well, make her see the video. Well, it's the same with my wife, by the way. So we're going to.
Yeah. She can be quite distracted doing a lot of things with the kids too. So
Right.
she's multitask, but sometimes she forgets about something and then I yeah. So, but that's not saving my life. It's saving my dinner. But no.
Well, I guess when you have that elevated sense of smell, because sense of smell is generally, I mean, why do we have it? It also helps us with, realizing if there's a fruit that is rotten or some mold or something, right? So it does come from that in a certain way. I guess just in today's world, we don't have to rely as much on it, unfortunately, and that's part of this channel. I want people to use their sense of smell a little bit more and explore how they can use it, how it's benefiting them. So I don't know. Maybe we should come up with some games for that.
But in that way, actually, I that's the way I decide whether some food is good or bad. I'm smelling it and if my nose say no, and then I trash it. And I'm not just looking on the label, what they say on the label, like, okay,
right,
good until that date. I always have to smell it, make sure, like, it's good. So, yeah. So in that sense, maybe I saved my life.
Yeah. Cool. Richard, I think that's good for the questions. A couple more things I wanted to let you know. I don't know if I told you on the phone earlier, but I actually am waiting for somebody from Germany. He's sending me a very interesting gadget, which is kind of like an advanced diffuser, and they wanted to see if there's something possible for us to do with them. So we'll see. We'll talk about that. And you also mentioned in September, I believe, that you would be interested to be a little bit more involved in the channel, which I think would be amazing. And especially what you mentioned, I thought was interesting because of your position, and you're still obviously actively working. You oftentimes get first dibs on new releases that are being sent to you through your company to kind of do a little bit of opposition research. Is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about how it looks like and what you smelled recently that might be interesting or might not be?
Yeah, I mean, we are getting all the new releases, to see if there is anything new or interesting, that could start a new trend, or something that. So I would say there are really hundreds. So I'm narrowing down. I'm still narrowing down more, and like this, you could come over and we discover like kind of the cream of the cream. You see
How far ahead of release do you usually get them?
I'm getting like about between 5 or 10 a week. I'm smelling.
Okay. And they're all pre-release or post-release?
They are like just released. Like
Just
as soon as
okay.
they get in the market, just as they get in the market, I would be like but so it's pretty good because let's say it's releasing in Europe, and it would take sometimes 6 months to be maybe right to the US. So I mean nowadays things are fast, but yeah, it can happen, So wherever it's released, and also whether it's already interesting or not, like some of them, the marketing team, they would say like, you know what, don't even bother. It's just another this or that, and not really not interesting. But mostly I'm smelling pretty much all the important release or all the supposed to be interesting one from some other niche brands,
Right.
So yeah, we could do that. React on some of them. See if we find some nice ones.
Sounds great. All right, Richard, that was awesome. Thank you so much. By the way, you think we can get a little discount for the Sense with Benefits community from your brand for those that want to check it out? Do you have anything going on right now I mean, Christmas is too late, but maybe New Year's or something?
Yeah. So definitely,
right?
Yeah. I'm going to create a coupon for you, Camille 40. And then on those, then we would do $40 off for these limited editions. Like this is nice. It's a big drop from $275.
Oh no, it's a great value. And Richard didn't know about this before. I just attacked him with that. So that's a way to be spontaneous. I got some brands, they are asking me if they can send me some samples. And then I'm like, sure, just send it over. I'll check it out. And in that case, I didn't ask to be paid or anything because I just relaunched the channel, really. So there's no point. But I asked them for a discount for my community. And they're like, oh, we usually don't do discounts, but they can sign up to our newsletter. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, it's not for me. It's for people to know your brand. And then, like you said, if they like it, they'll repurchase it. So that's very cool. Appreciate that.
I'm going to do better than that. You see this one? So that you have the one with 4 spots and the sprayer, the luxury sprayer, okay?
Right.
But we wanted people to. This one is only $75, okay?
Okay.
And compared to the one that you bought, it was $125. The one with the luxury sprayer and everything.
Right.
So this one is for people who just want to try, see if they really fall in love with 1 scent. But the good part is they can really customize it. So some people who like salt and pepper, they buy this box and they buy free salt and pepper inside. So
so you know what? We'll figure this out, and then I'll put it in the description below, whatever the discount will be. Thank you so much from the community. Appreciate that. Guys, you got to check this out. This is a really high quality brand. I know some people already talked about this, so definitely thankful for that, Richard. Appreciate that.
But one thing, let's do a giveaway of this one, okay? So you choose the winner like fairly, and you give me the name and address, and I'll ship it from here to them.
All right. What should we do? Should we just do random winner or somebody with? How about somebody who comes up with a great poem about the scent of oud? You guys can do that today with AI. It's not that difficult. Come on. Whoever comes up with a good poem about or comment about the scent of oud under this video, we'll choose somebody, and then we'll figure out everything else. It's gonna be in the description below. Richard, thank you so much, man. It's been fun. We'll get together soon. And for everybody who's been here until now, thank you for being here. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Very good.